Junior Achievement presents the 2021 Partners in Achievement Breakfast, bringing students and supporters together from both the New Haven and Hartford regions to highlight the powerful stories of individuals who have felt the impact of JA programs in their lives. Here to welcome you to this morning's program, our live MC and JA alum, Rashmi Rajesh.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rashmi Rajesh, and I am a senior honors student at Bentley University. I'm also a proud Junior Achievement alum and past MC of this inspirational breakfast event. I am so pleased to welcome you to the 2021 Junior Achievement Partners in Achievement Breakfast. If we were together in person this morning, you'd have all enjoyed scrambled eggs, bacon, and waffles by now. Hopefully, we can all be together in person next year. Even though we can't be in the same room today, we still have a very special program for you, and I hope you will be inspired by the students and educators who will share in their own words how JA has influenced their lives. This morning, we are coming to you live, and we are excited to see so many friends from both the Hartford and New Haven regions. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Now, if at any point this morning you experience any issues with the presentation not playing properly on your computers, please refresh your browser. This seems to do the trick 99% of the time. If you're still having issues with anything, we also have live tech support here with us from Remo. Simply send Gary Borg a private chat to connect, and when back out in the JA Virtual Ballroom, there is also a table labeled Tech Support you can go to. For those streaming on Vimeo, please notify us via the chat if you're encountering any technical difficulties. Just so you know, during the presentation, all of your cameras and microphones are disabled, so no need to worry about checking if you're on mute or where your camera is pointed. We do hope, though, you will interact with your fellow guests using the chat function. For those in Remo, we also encourage you to use the interactive buttons at the bottom right of your screen to give a round of applause or a thumbs up when you hear something inspiring. There you go. Now we have the hang of it. Okay, a little more about me before we get the program started. I actually participated in multiple Junior Achievement programs back in high school, including the JA Entrepreneurial Academy and the Golden Leadership Program. Both experiences taught me so many lessons and skills that I still use to this day. Thanks to JA, I, along with two other young women from my student-run JA company, got to compete in a national student business competition in Atlanta. Not only did we compete, but we won. That experience sparked my entrepreneurial spirit and also confirmed that a career in business was what I truly wanted to aspire to. It was life-changing, and I can't thank JA enough for giving me so many incredible opportunities. Later in the program, I'll even tell you about my recent experience as a JA volunteer. I am extremely grateful for Junior Achievement. Thank you to JA's Board of Directors for working so hard to ensure students like me and others you will hear from this morning are inspired and empowered. If you are a JA board member watching this morning, I'd ask that you please give a quick thumbs up using the button at the bottom right. Thank you for being leaders who encourage young people like me to dream big about our futures. Thank you to everyone who has given their time to be a classroom volunteer. If you're a JA volunteer in the virtual room this morning, please give a quick thumbs up as well. Thank you for being our mentors and for bringing JA's lessons to life. There are so many more people to thank. Therefore, in your digital flipbook program, you will see listed all of the people who helped make today possible, including this year's Breakfast Host Committee. The program can be accessed by clicking the bottom banner that says Program went back out in the JA Virtual Ballroom and was also sent out to guests in the email that contained today's event link. And speaking of wonderful gifts, I'm thrilled to recognize today's title sponsor, JP Morgan Chase & Company, and our platinum sponsor, ARC Insurance, as well as our gold sponsor, Webster Bank. Thank you to our breakfast sponsors, Bowen and Bradstreet, Hartford Steam Boiler, Lidl, Prime Materials Recovery, Prudential, RSM US, Snowden Lane Partners, and Voya. I would additionally like to thank EBP Supply Solutions, KMR Executive Search, and Markham for sponsoring this morning's event at the student sponsor level. Now, as all of you know, this has been a challenging year. I attended all of my classes at Bentley virtually this year, and though it was not the same as being in class in person, just like for students who experienced JA programs virtually this year, the impact was still meaningful and powerful. And if you don't believe me, just watch and listen to the words of several young people, myself included, who felt so strongly that JA continued their programs during the pandemic that we created a PSA titled, "No JA, No Way." Take a look.
No JA, no way that I start learning about financial literacy in elementary school.
No JA, no way. I connect with an adult mentor from my community.
No JA, no way that I gain confidence and life lessons from running my own student company.
No JA, no way. My JA experiences helped me pick my major, and I'm still using my JA knowledge every day.
No JA, no way.
No JA, no way.
Thankfully, people listened to our message. And thankfully, JA still served literally thousands of students this year with virtual programs. And here to tell you more about why that's so important is Stephanie, a JA student from Bishop Woods School in New Haven.
Junior achievement has meant a lot to me in my years at Bishop Woods. The activities have helped me decide about what career paths I would like to pursue and the goals I need to start setting for myself. I'm heading off to high school next year, and it will help me get a head start knowing all the different paths I can take. The volunteers from RSM and Junior Achievement tell us real stories of what it's like in the real world. Thank you, Junior Achievement.
It's clear Stephanie has felt the power of JA. And here to tell us more about the power of JA is Junior Achievement's President and CEO, Jeremy Race.
Thank you, Rashmi. It's so great to see you. You're doing an amazing job hosting this morning's breakfast. Our future is brighter because of young people like you. One of the many highlights I've had over the past year has been getting to work with you to launch a new initiative in collaboration with Bentley University and Junior Achievement in Boston called the JAB Entrepreneurial Challenge.
Thank you, Jeremy and JA. This experience meant so much to me because JA took the time to help me with an initiative I was running as part of the honors program. This event empowered Bentley students to be teachers of JA's Be Entrepreneurial curriculum to underserved high school communities in the Hartford and Boston regions, teaching these young people how to start a business. It was a humbling experience to be able to share JA with my university while also responding to the call for social change. I cannot thank Junior Achievement enough for supporting me and my school in this endeavor, and for allowing me to be a JA volunteer for the first time.
You're very welcome, Rashmi. But as I say, we're just doing our job. But I know that I speak for all of us here this morning that doing our job has been more challenging this year than any other. It certainly has not been business as usual. But in times like these, I believe we have a choice. We can sit around and wait for things to get back to normal, or we can take action and work to create what our new normal will be. We at Junior Achievement have chosen the latter. When all JA programs and events were shut down last March, we quickly regrouped. We set an objective as an organization to stay needed, relevant, and supportive. We started purchasing and donating PPE supplies to local hospitals, schools, and individuals in need. To date, we have donated more than 24,000 pieces of critical PPE supplies to close to 75 schools, hospitals, and organizations in Connecticut. We made it our mission to show empathy and support to our educators and corporate partners, to let them know that we are here for them no matter what. At the same time, we hunkered down as a team and began planning for the upcoming school year, still uncertain what the future would bring. In June, we adopted a new budget that saw us slashing more than $500,000 from our annual expenses. But our goal was to keep our team fully employed and be strongly positioned to serve our schools and our students when they were ready. In September, we formed 12 virtual planning committees comprised of more than 100 community leaders made up of board members, volunteers, educators, and even a few JA alum. And by October, we had fully virtualized all of our programming, and it was time to see if the work we had put in would equal success. Well, as I stand here before you today, I can proudly say that it has. Over the past 7 months, we have served more than 8,000 students with virtual JA programs and have plans to reach another 4,000 students virtually by June 30, for a total of 12,000 students this year. Hats off to the JA staff, the board, our donors, our supporters, and all of our virtual volunteers who have contributed their time, talent, and treasure to make this success a reality. And a huge thank you to all of the educators who have welcomed Junior Achievement back into their classrooms virtually this year. You are our heroes. Now, for those of you who have been attending past JA Breakfast, you've heard me speak about our ambitious journey to serve 50,000 students annually by June of 2020, last school year. Well, again, I'm proud to share that if it were not for the pandemic last spring, we would have actually served 52,000 students by June of 2020. But that was then, and this is now. I can honestly say that I'm more proud of the JA team for the 12,000 students served this year virtually than any larger number of students we have served in my nearly 20 years working for JA. And I'm most proud of all the young people who have participated in JA's virtual programs this year. You, the students, are our heroes as well. Now here's a short list of just some of the virtual programs our students have experienced this year. J in a Week programs at dozens of K-8 schools, a variation of Junior Achievement's popular J in a Day program. This year we have literally hundreds of volunteers beaming into classrooms live to teach JA lessons, and we even pivoted to create a library of recorded volunteer presentations for schools with more limited technology or time. Mock interviews, some of which have led to JA students getting real interviews for real jobs. Career panels for middle and high school students, especially from underserved communities, that have introduced these students to jobs and careers that in past years may have seemed out of reach. Entrepreneurial academies at 3 of Connecticut's largest employers. A 15-week program at the Hartford, Pratt & Whitney, and Stanley Black & Decker that saw high school students creating and operating real businesses, selling real products, and making real profits. Career Connections for Young Women, a 10-week program for female high school students that saw them identifying their dream job and mapping out a clear and attainable career path. Junior Apprentice, a semester-long experience for students at Hartford's Weaver High School that saw them experiencing a wide variety of financial literacy and work readiness lessons, culminating with actual paid internships at local businesses. For most of these students, their first real job. Folks, the list goes on and on. One more important thing to mention is the deep commitment Junior Achievement has made to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Not only have we made a commitment to ensure our board leadership better represents the great diversity of our students, more than 50% of whom identify as Black or brown, but we are also working strategically and deliberately to ensure our JA volunteers better represent our diverse student base, as it's critically important that our Black and brown students have the opportunity to interact with mentors that look like them and can relate to the unique challenges they face. You see, we have the opportunity and responsibility to help ensure that Connecticut's talent pipeline expands and becomes more inclusive. This year has powerfully demonstrated that even amidst all the chaos and challenges of one of the toughest years all of us have ever lived through, the need for Junior Achievement's message of hope, inspiration, and empowerment has never been stronger. The need to teach young people financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship will never go away. And with an even greater emphasis placed on student impact over student numbers, I can assure you that the students who experience JA programs now and tomorrow will gain even more from those experiences than ever before.
Thank you, Mr. Ace. And as a young person who gained a ton from my JA experiences, it's so exciting and encouraging to think how the lives of future JA students and our employers will be powerfully influenced even more. It's really incredible. Now, we all know that teachers have also been challenged in so many ways this year, and it's just so impressive to see how schools have pivoted to meet the needs of students. With us this morning is an educator from Hartford, a former public school teacher who is now a program manager for Ready CT, Ray Bermudez. Mr. Bermudez will share why he believes JA is needed in schools now more than ever.
Hello, my name is Ray Bermudez, and I'm honored to speak on behalf of the impact JA makes on the students in Connecticut. Over the last 6 years, JA programming has been a part of my professional and personal life. The variety of free resources and services offered have helped to enhance the overall student experience. As an educator, I have utilized the JA Career Readiness curriculum to prepare high school students for spring and summer internships. I've also taken advantage of the career speaker panels, job shadows, worksite tours, mock interviews, and resume reviews, particularly as they pertain to the relevant and theme-related experiences for students. Finally, I've helped coordinate experiences and inspired students to participate in the Be Entrepreneurial Day and Career Connections for Young Women. I'm also proud to share that my son, a former student in the New Britain school system, has participated in JA programming since elementary school and had an amazing experience in 2020 with the JA Entrepreneurial Academy. The skills he learned and the impact on his character were profound. He became a leader when he didn't want to, was pushed out of his comfort zone plenty of times, and learned new things about himself through his exchanges with others. Most impressively, even in the face of a pandemic, with a complete shutdown of the state, the staff and volunteers of JA, as well as the students of Perspective Inc., his JA student company, were encouraged to move forward with their business, sell out of their product, and be featured in the New Britain Herald as a representation of resilience. My son to this day speaks highly about his experience and the value of the program. It is my intention to continue to encourage the utilization of JA resources. Most recently, I've helped to support the Junior Apprentice program by providing insight and ideas on reaching our students in the midst of COVID. I've also supported middle school efforts in Hartford Public Schools by collaborating with JA staff and promoting career-themed pathways at the Comprehensive High School supported by Ready CT. I look forward to many more years of partnership and collaboration with JA, especially with all of the new creative virtual options available to classrooms and students. I also look forward to seeing my son one day come back to serve JA as a volunteer in some capacity. Thank you for this opportunity to share my experience, and thank you for your continued support of JA. As you can see, your yes has a generational impact that will ripple for lifetimes to come.
It's educators like Mr. Bermudez that help keep the JA engine running strongly and make it possible for junior achievement to impact the lives of young people. Let's hear from another JA student, Peter Cohen, who will share what he has learned from JA.
Thank you, Rashmi. My time with Junior Achievement has been a very unique and special learning experience. There are very few high school students that can say they got hands-on experience starting and running a company with investors, stockholders, and real money. Our company, which we decided to name Screen Clean, was comprised of 11 of my peers and a handful of insightful and supportive volunteers from Stanley Black & Decker. This personal connection to Stanley was extremely enriching. We got to see their beautiful facilities and engage with their employees. The volunteers I was fortunate enough to spend time with were very passionate and helpful, and were constantly looking for ways to not only support our company, but also advance our practical knowledge of real business. To kickstart the company with my peers, we engaged friends, family, and others, asking for investments. I had to learn to create a convincing sales pitch to hook potential investors, as well as manage the resulting finances. Within the company, we had a number of leadership positions to vie for. To win, you had to have a solid, quick pitch to your peers and the volunteers. My pitch earned me the position of president of the company. This meant I was the one that needed to make big decisions, decide what was on the agenda for each meeting, and delegate responsibilities to others. A short 2 weeks into the program, we first heard of the COVID-19 virus, which threatened to put our entire business on hold. At this point, we had samples of our product, a handheld electronic screen cleaning device, and a distributor located in China. In the end, after much discussion with my team and the guidance of our volunteers, the final decision to either return the investors' money or attempt to sell our product in unprecedented times came down to me. This is an experience I would never have gotten anywhere else unless I was a real business owner among the pandemic. The decision, although insignificant in the grand scheme of things going on in the world, was a reflection of the larger issues facing businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. The experiences I had are ones students can really only get through Junior Achievement and their programs led by dedicated volunteers and partner companies throughout the state. Thank you, Junior Achievement, for giving me an opportunity and experience I'll not only never forget, but will continue to learn and grow from, as my new friend Rashmi has. Speaking of, Rashmi, why don't you share a little more about how JA has shaped your life?
Thank you, Peter, for sharing your story. Now, I'm going to put on my JA teacher hat for a moment and do a quick pop quiz. Of all of you watching this morning's program, how many of you have noticed that the same students who appeared in the PSA, No JA, No Way, are with us this morning in person? Give a thumbs up if you've been paying attention. Okay, perfect. Now, back to why we're all here this morning, to hear about the impact of Junior Achievement. The story you're about to hear is truly incredible. It's a story about a young man from Hartford whose path was altered thanks to JA programs and JA mentors. I am proud to introduce AJ Daly. His powerful JA story speaks for itself. Let's have a look and listen.
My name is AJ Daly. This is me when I was just a kid. This is me today. Did Junior Achievement play a role in how I got from there to here? It sure did. The setting for this story, Hartford, Connecticut, my hometown. As a 17-year-old, I gave a speech at the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame. Some of what I wrote and said that night, I'll share again over the next few minutes. These days, I'm a successful professional living in Washington, D.C. But that speech, back in Hartford in 2004, it still rings true. You see, from day to day, many children in Hartford are neglected by the world. The only world they see is within the 10-mile radius of their block or street corner. And I guarantee there are no Fortune 500 executives on their street corners showing them how to create and run successful businesses. And I'm pretty sure that there are no presidents of multi-million-dollar corporations telling them that they can achieve success outside of their world and in the business world. Even though I grew up with two parents who raised me to look beyond the world that I saw, there was a lot of drug dealing, there was a lot of violence within the community, there was a lot of poverty around where I lived. Where JA really impacted my life was in high school.
Yeah, I love that. We had a lot of AJs. He can test for it. He wasn't the only bright one. He was around a whole lot of bright ones, but you had to pull it out of them. You had to inspire them. You had to encourage them.
It wasn't just the financial education and the education about the business world that was beneficial, but really what it was the mentoring. The exposure to people who are already where you want to be. JA provided that. The engagement, it provided the advice, and it provided the mentorship that otherwise I wouldn't have had.
For young people that live in this city, what JA did was give them an opportunity in the professional world to see that if you follow this trajectory, if you do everything that Mr. McCoy, Mr. Ali, Mr. Brown, Miss Oliver tell you to do, you can be successful, and he did it.
That was my first full-time job out of college. Junior Achievement was partnered with the Hartford. So that's where I started to coordinate my service days on JA days when they would go to a school and mentor the kids. I got involved again because I knew how effective and how much JA helped me when I was growing up. So I wanted to give back. Why do I define success? Because I had to trod over many mountains to obtain what I achieved today. The mountain of my intellect as a statistical fact based upon my skin color. The mountain of my drug-infested environment. And the biggest mountain of all, the mountain of fear. The fear that I cannot make it to college. Better yet, in the business world. The fear that drives millions of inner city children to the streets. The fact that Hartford is the insurance capital of the world, I didn't know. I didn't know. Unless you have access, unless you have opportunities where you can go in and engage and find out and learn and grow from it, it remains foreign to so many kids in the inner city.
Junior Achievement gave me the key to a world I knew nothing about.
Through lectures and class activities, I began to see that I could define success. I am an architectural manager at Deloitte. I am now a new pastor at a church in Washington, D.C. I am a father of two, 6-year-old named Eli, 3-year-old named Luke, and I have a beautiful wife, Tashna Morris Daly. They have been the heartbeat and my lifeline. I knew I wanted to leave where I was. I just didn't know where to or how to get there. And so JA provided, in a sense, the vision and a roadmap to get there.
Wow, AJ's story is truly inspiring. It's stories like his that remind us, especially as board chair, why it's so important that Junior Achievement continues and expands its work to change the lives of young people in Connecticut. This morning, you've heard from several outstanding people who have felt the power of Junior Achievement. I hope you have also felt JA's power this morning and better understand the importance of JA's efforts in the communities in which we work and live. I say it's important because our future depends on young people like Stephanie, Peter, Rashmi, and AJ. It's my belief that we have a choice. We can invest in young people like the students here with us today, or we don't. If we invest, we can help shape their skills, their values, and their lives. If we don't, we may be missing powerful opportunities to influence their futures. In my mind, there really is only one choice, and that is to give these students the gift of our resources and the promise of hope. This morning, you can make that choice. You can make a difference in a child's life and create a better future for all of us. The past year has been a powerful reminder that young people need JA now more than ever. And to make that happen, we need your help now more than ever. In preparation for this morning's event, as we looked at what we wanted to ask you for today, we decided to ask you for what we really need: support for the day-to-day operations of Junior Achievement classes throughout Connecticut, and the excellent programs you've heard Rashmi, Stephanie, Peter, and AJ describe, and the impact that you heard Mr. Bermudez talk about, both in his role as an educator and a parent. 17 years ago, we launched the Partners in Achievement Breakfast as a way to build awareness for JA's impact, but also to help build the long-term future of Junior Achievement. This event in Hartford and New Haven typically draws crowds of 600 and 200 guests respectively. And though we wish we could be in person together, we're just so humbled to see that so many of you took the time to tune in this morning. On behalf of the JA Board and Directors and staff, thank you. Now, this is the point at which I would like to discuss the variety of ways you can ensure JA's future impact for more students in this region. I'm going to start by walking you through our online pledge card and give you some examples of how your gift to JA can bring hope and inspiration to the young people who are counting on us. Normally, we would never ask you to have your cell phones out at a JA event, but in the spirit of pivoting and meeting our constituents where they are, I'd ask that you all please take out your cell phones. If you provided your cell phone number at registration, your digital pledge card can be accessed via the text you should have received a few moments ago. If you didn't get a text message, or if you didn't share your number, that's okay. If you didn't get a text message or if you didn't share your number, that's okay. You can text PIA 2021 to 50155. All registered guests were also sent the link to the online pledge card via email a few moments ago. We've also added the link to the chat for you just now. Please check your spam folders if you didn't receive it. So go ahead and click on the link to pull up our virtual pledge card now while you watch and listen to the remainder of today's powerful program. If you're experiencing any difficulties, please just type your name in the chat and someone from the JA staff will be in touch either during or after this morning's event. Okay, now to the pledge card. If you would consider the first option on the screen, a gift of $100 per year for 5 years, your gift will ensure that 2 JA students will experience JA programs in their classroom or virtually each year. A gift of $250 per year for 5 years will make it possible for JA to empower 5 students to own their future economic success through programs like JA in a Week or mock interviews. A gift of $500 per year for 5 years ensures that 10 JA students will experience JA programs like career panels and virtual job shadows. This is equivalent to roughly $42 per month or $1.40 per day. If you would consider a gift of $1,000 per year for 5 years, your gift will ensure that 1 full classroom, roughly 20 students, will experience JA programs each year, either in person or virtually. This is the equivalent to less than a coffee at $2.75 per day. The 5th level is a $2,000 a year for 5 years. This donation will allow more students to experience programs like JA's Entrepreneurial Academy or Career Connections for Young Women, intensive programs that also impact the future talent pipeline of the region. The next level is $5,000 a year for 5 years. If you would consider a gift at this level, your gift will provide approximately 100 young people with JA programs each year. Or this gift will also ensure that 1 additional student from Hartford's Weaver High School can participate in JA's longest duration program, Junior Apprentice, which places these young people in paid internships at local businesses. And the last level, for anyone who may be in a position to make an even larger contribution, is $10,000 per year for 5 years. This gift will allow JA to bring a continuum of high-impact programs to more students, like JA alum A.J. Daly, and to ensure their life trajectories are forever changed. Although I started by introducing the Partners in Achievement multi-year giving program, we know and respect that we all have different financial means, and so the second tab provides opportunities for you to indicate other gifts if you prefer. We welcome cash, gifts in kind, and stock. We realize that many companies have matching gift programs, which would allow you to double the impact of your gift today. We welcome a one-time contribution or multiple year pledge in different amounts from those listed on the card. And lastly, but just as important as a financial gift, we've included a spot on the pledge card for those of you who are interested in volunteering and making a gift of your time. The powerful experiences you heard described by Rashmi, Peter, Stephanie, and AJ would not have been possible without volunteers. Please consider experiencing the thrill of volunteering with JA and sign up today. We're also looking to identify our alumni out there. Please let us know if you are a JA alumni. Check the box on the card and give us a thumbs up if you're in Remo. However you decide to support JA, please remember one thing. The young people you've seen and heard today are our future. And quite honestly, I couldn't be more proud. Whatever gift you have chosen to make today, you should feel gratified to know that you're helping young people acquire knowledge, skills, and experience, every bit of which they'll need to be an asset to the workforce and their community. Rashmi will close the program in a moment, and you'll be released back to the floor, where table hosts and JA staff can help if you're encountering any issues with the pledge card.
Thank you, Mr. Canby, and thank you everyone for being with us this morning. For those of you who felt inspired enough to make a donation to Junior Achievement today, please know how much we appreciate your support. You're not just writing a check or checking a box. You're helping to change lives like mine and those you've heard from today. If you were moved by any of the speeches you heard this morning, I ask that you consider talking to your managers, co-workers, friends, family, and clients about JA and ask them to join you at next year's JA breakfast, hopefully in person. The more people with whom we can share the JA message, the more successful we will be. Lastly, we will be leaving the Remo platform open for those networking until 9:30, so that those of you who want to continue conversations or connecting can do so conveniently. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you again soon.